LightSpeed Quiz 2019 number 5, and I'm currently sitting on the monument at Marston Moor, just in by of Tockwith in North Yorkshire. It's an exquisite morning. We've had some great weather for these things. I'm sitting with your man.
Good morning.
Evil Bee lad.
Evil Bee lad, yeah.
And I'm going to do the introduction here so we can get straight into the quizzes and bypass all the these things not working. Anyway, let me get on with it. It's LightSpeed Quiz at number 5 of this year. It's a fantastic competition. We've got some great players lined up today. It's great to see Clive Dunning back again, coming down from Middlesbrough with Tony and Norman and McP, of course. In July, you'll see a Marston Moor special. For most of June, you'll be seeing the various tilts from LightSpeed Quiz, starting with today's, which will be music and art, but then you've got your history and your science and your sport, blah blah blah, all coming up. So try and tune into them on a Monday at 8:30 or 8 o'clock on YouTube. Look up LightSpeed Quiz, LightSpeed being 1 year. As I said, the only thing not being done today by me is Dave Bill's anagram quiz. So I first met you in 2015 at the tail end of one of Michael McPartland's quizzes up in Smoggyland there.
Norton.
And since then, you've kind of been coming and going, and I don't think there's anybody in this country more qualified to make an assessment of what's going on in the quiz world, because you work for Red Tooth Quiz, yeah?
I write, well, I mean, Red Tooth itself turns out about 3,000 pub quizzes a week at the moment, and probably 80% of which pass over my desk at one point or another.
The shit ones.
The shit ones, yeah,
what I want is your opinion on LightSpeed Quiz and the way it's going, specifically this year. Is it really, well, it's absolutely realistic to put you as a leading contender if you could attend every single one. But present company accepted, who's going to be 1, 2 and 3 in the list?
Today, you can't look beyond Clive, Michael, Tony.
Steve Kidd.
Clive, Michael and Tony, yeah. Who
we know that Clive...
proven track records,
yeah.
Know their stuff.
We know that Clive's not going to beat them all. We've seen at the top of the table that Simon and Michael McPartland are both on 45 points. Simon Chilton's holding it together, but he does have to set a set. He'll have to drop out of one.
Yeah.
Michael McPartland in the lead. Are you going to be able to make it to many of them?
I'm here next month. I think I'm here the month after. I'm probably about, yeah. I think my lean period's over. I should be pretty good for the rest of the year. Yeah, more country. I want to just qualify for the Q12, which is a bit of an annoyance because it's...
Well, again, can we discuss the Q12 a bit? Because earlier on I was talking to the car about how once you realise you can get into a tailspin on something, the part 2 of Q12 is the easiest thing to go out on any quiz ever. It looks like a meritocracy, but there's so much luck involved, which you can't detect at first glance.
When I've lost at Q12, it's always been on the back, on the grounds of going out on that round, and it's going to it. Do you go too early? Do you not go early enough? It's the risk reward, and yeah.
Wicked. I'm so looking forward to today's sets. I wish you the best of luck in everything, but I hope you're enjoying at least sampling the air out here on top of Marston Moor, where one of the most significant battles of the English Civil War was fought. And I'm currently fighting a battle with some food which I prepared here. And I can think of nothing more civilised than having a homemade wrap and a fresh cup of coffee prior to going to the Boot and Shoe in Tockwith and having some serious quiz. If you want to join in LightSpeed Quiz, or if you want to come for a picnic, look up LightSpeed Quiz. LightSpeed is one word on YouTube, and the next thing you see, we'll be cutting straight to round 1, which is music and art. Me asking the questions: who's going to win the music? Tony Walmsley.
Or me.
Who's going to win the art? Clive Dunning.
We shall soon see.
Anyway, here I am. It's LightSpeed Quiz 2019, number 5 at Marston, Moor, very close to Marston Moor. We've got a great lineup here, as you can see, and we are cracking away with music incorporating pop, jazz, classical, radio, and musicals. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. 20 questions. The English singer-songwriter has been awarded, this English singer-songwriter has been awarded a CBE and Novello Award. In January 2019, she felt pressed to release a statement outlining her political views. It's Ashton.
Kate Bush.
It is. You're making trouble for me today, aren't you? There you go. Kate Bush is correct. Wuthering Heights, first song. Hey?
He's got his plus on there.
Oh, he has got his plus on there. That's great stuff.
Kate Bush revision paying off.
This four-letter word is found in the name of a 1968 UK #1 act. It is also the name given to the most sampled drum break used in electronic dance music. The 5 seconds of drumming by Gregory Sylvester was perhaps most successfully used by Move. I'm afraid it wasn't, Tony. Successfully used by NWA in Straight Outta Compton. Most commonly found at the end of a Christian prayer or hymn. What? Mike Lees.
Amen.
Yeah, so be it. Mike Lees, you are in the lead.
Can I protest that you said the 1968 war? That's 1969.
He does know. He does know.
That's why when the move moves 1968. Never mind.
Right, well, what I'm going to do, Tony, I'm going to
Give me your name.
delete you the thing there. Okay, you've not got an egg. It might come back on. In the end.
It will come back.
Please tell me.
Reset.
Number 3, almost completely deaf by the time of his death, the composer of the pastoral Will.
Beethoven.
I don't think it is. Tony.
Bach.
No.
There it is. Hey.
Lee.
Sixth.
Almost completely, no, deaf by the time of his death. The composer of the Pastoral Symphony's only salaried job was a fifth. Michael.
Vaughan Williams.
It is Ray Fall Williams.
Gets a deaf composer.
Yeah. As you know, I'm on the side of Tony Richardson with that one. Absolutely not a swerve. Please tell me.
Reset.
Michael Partland gets the dink there. And reset. And douche. The first 2 words of a 1979 #1, I hope it's 1979, #1 by the Police, are the same as the title of which influential jazz album released in 1960. That album is ranked in the 25 greatest jazz recordings ever made, and Dave?
A Kind.
I'm afraid not, David. This album is ranked in the 25 greatest jazz recordings ever made, and features Tommy Flanagan on piano. It is the 5th studio album by saxophonist John Coltrane, and according to Ashton.
Oh, Love.
I'm afraid it's not Ashton.
Our children.
Tommy Flanagan on piano. It's the 5th studio album by saxophonist John Coltrane, and according to Sting are What You Take When Walking. Lee.
Every Breath.
No, and I've not finished the question, Lee. I'm sorry. Steve Lacey.
Giant Steps.
Giant Steps and What You Take. Steve Lacey, you're in the joint lead by a long way over a few people. This group was formed in 1958 and formally ended in 2013 with 9 Billboard #1s. They were the most successful chart act of the 70s in the United States. Mike Lees.
Slade. Please. America in there. Is it America in the 70s?
Moor.
And it's Schlade anyway. Michael.
The Eagles.
I'm afraid not, Michael.
Hello.
Well done, Tony Richardson. 9 Billboard #1s. They were the most successful chart act of the 70s in the United States. 6 of those songs were from just 2 albums. Spirits Having Flown, and the soundtrack to Steve, you were going to say?
I was going to say each.
Yeah, each Steve's. I'm trying to concentrate here. Steve Lacey, where are you? There you are, you.
Yuck.
Which, Which British group released the 1972 album Dark Side of the Moon?
Oh
Tony.
Medicine Head.
You got him off the hook there, give him a little round.
I was in on Medicine Head.
You were fourth on the list there, David, shame on you. But I think Mike Lees was in there with Pink Floyd and Simon was in there with...
I was going to say Deep Purple.
I thought you might have said Duke Cavendish or something.
73 was Pink Floyd.
So Tony, well done for getting all these people off the hook and getting yourself back into positive figures. Why am I talking like a TV presenter? The Alan Partridge. Next, the earliest surviving example of this musical instrument is the 433 BCE Chinese Guqin. Good Scrabble word, G-U-Q-I-N. It can be played either by strumming or plucking the strings, and the number of strings can vary from 1 to 50. Its name deriving from the Greek word for guitar, named the instrument used by Anton Karas in the soundtrack to Tony.
Is it that?
Yeah, I did the same again there, but I was right this time. 5. You were a zither away from it. Tony, you get your 2 points, and
Bill.
that's looking a little bit better now. Healthier. Also a prolific essayist and virtuoso pianist, this composer who died in Bayreuth, it's that was a difficult one, at the age of 74, was one of the most prominent of the new German school in the 19th century. The inventor of the symphonic poem, his work is credited with anticipating much of the most complex classical music of the 20th century. Born in 1811, his huge output is sometimes catalogued using the R number. Name this composer born in Budapest, whose most important works include the Hungarian Rap. Tony.
List.
Bill.
This US record producer had limited early success on the Beatles' Apple label, whilst working with Welsh group Badfinger. In the 1970s, his production of Electric Warrior gave T-Rex their biggest album and...
Tony Visconti.
Yeah.
Whoo! Yep.
Affirmative.
Tony, you got his revenge there on you. You were a smidgen behind. And on the David Bowie stuff was coming to that question, obviously. This contemporary United States artist was originally a member of the Polyphonic Spree. In 2018, she became the first female singer in 20 years to win the Grammy for Best Alternative Music Album for Mass Education. Give the stage name of the singer-songwriter born Annie Clark. Go on, Tony. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ashton.
St Vincent's.
St Vincent.
Yes, I was going to bring Bill Murray into that on my own accord, but I thought I'll leave it, somebody will get it. So, yes, St Vincent. I've never heard of St Vincent
I've got
before.
album by you. I can't believe I've read that myself.
Lee, while I'm putting this up, tell them about your Christmas present with the Avril Lavigne album. Ashton, you're there, aren't you?
Oh yes, Ashton.
There you go. It was meant to sound orgasmic. Lee said, this group was amongst the headliners at the first WOMAD festival in 1980. Formed in 1963, their sound is mostly instrumental and draws heavily on traditional music from their homeland. Their music is featured on the Academy Award-winning soundtrack to Barry Lyndon in 1975. Name the group led by Michael.
Planet.
Nope.
Hello.
Name this group led by Paddy Maloney, who have collaborated. Tony.
Chieftains.
Yeah, of course it was the Chieftains. Did you know it, Clive?
Well, I was way behind.
Yeah. Basically, sure, Irish instrumental band. There you go. Nicknamed the Divine One, it's a music quiz. This singer died in 1990, described as having one of the most wondrous voices of the 20th century. She first sang publicly in the local church choir in Newark, New Jersey. A solo career began in 1945 and the first recordings were with a backing band including Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. Named the jazz singer who sometimes used the stage name Sassy and whose biggest commercial successes included Summertime, Misty and Broken Hearted Melody. Tony.
I was going to say, it was Sarah Vaughan.
It was Sarah Vaughan, yeah, absolutely. I love the song Misty. Tony, I should know where you are by now. You're on 9, and after a shocking start. This artist is the most successful of all time at the Soul Train Awards. First nominated in the year 2000, This artist is also the most successful in Grammy history, with 63 nominations and 22 awards as a solo artist and member of a trio. Name the singer who in 2011 became the first woman, Michael,
Beyonce.
Yeah.
to headline Glastonbury in over 20 years.
Trio.
And without a doubt,
Yeah.
Beyonce is one of the few people designated with a mononym who are allowed.
I was thinking male, that's why I was never yeah.
The one-word name of the still active US rock band is shared with an opera character known as Sharp Ears. Originally they were known as Genesis. The band were commercially successful in the late 1980s and early 90s as part of the California glam metal scene. Sometimes described as a female Bon Jovi, their classic lineup was headed by Roxy Petrucci. Name the band whose name is Tony.
Vixen.
Is the same as that of a cunning little vulpine in a Janacek opera.
Bill.
A song with this title is the disturbing opening track on the Manic Street Preachers Leah. That was a mulligan. Right, song title, the first track on the Holy Bible by the Manic Street Preachers in 1994. The same single word is also the name of a British rock band formed in 1968 and are still performing. A commonly used short word is the title of which single, the 1995 debut and most successful by McCalmont and Butler. Ashton.
Yes.
Yes.
This Australian won 2 Ivor Novello Awards and the homemade car won him a Silver Bear and an Oscar nomination. In 1981, the year he died, he was nominated for 3 BAFTAs for his incidental music, but it is as a composer of television theme tunes that he is best known. Name the composer of themes for Steptoe and Son, Doctor Who and The Prisoner. Clive?
Granger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going Granger, I couldn't think, wasn't it? Yeah, it's Granger, isn't it?
Granger.
Which two-word title, the two-word title of this 2015 UK #1 single is shared by 1972 Martha Reeves' album. The lyrics claim that a sip from a secret potion could... That's got to be you.
Me?
Yeah.
Like magic.
It is, yeah. Norman was there and Dave was there as well. So, Mike
Do
leaves.
you like a bit of
Williams.
Should have gone to team Middlesbrough today.
Yeah.
You didn't join fourth place. Brilliant. We have got number 18 on this particular set. This company originated in the 1890s and by the 1930s had diversified into selling its own brand of radios and televisions. With a name and a logo derived from a 19th century painting by Francis Barraud, this company is best known as a record manufacturer, Tony.
His master's voice.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Press.
Bill.
But the back foot is a strange world, isn't it? This annual UK Music Festival was first held in 2006 and had a lineup of Americana, alt country and indie. Located in Dorset, Mike Lee.
We're going to see Latitude.
Yeah.
Suffolk is not
Moor.
Located in Dorset, with a name suggesting both its country lane remoteness and the fact that it was the last festival of the summer. Name the festival that shares its name with the most successful single by Boys to Men. Lee!
End of the road.
Everybody knew you were right on that one.
Spot on.
Never heard of the festival.
It sounds good to me, old country. I like the sound of that. Yeehaw! Always did like country by myself.
All country's not yeehaw.
This 20th century English performer shares his surname with a leading contemporary performer. Much less successful, but shares his surname with a leading contemporary performer. Much less successful, the 20th century. The penultimate release by the UK artist was the 1976 single You Never Know, which was produced by Peter Gabriel but a commercial flop. Only his first single, Splish Splash, made the top 10. Tony.
Charlie Drake.
Yeah, were you thinking Bobby Dad? And then no, it's not that kind of. My boomerang won't come back was the one. That's the end of that quiz. I've got
This splash of Bobby Jonathan.
Yeah. So basically, we're looking at it's Eclipse first, the rest nowhere. Tony Walmsley, 15. Big round of applause. Tilt number 2. Arts, incorporating art, architecture, food, language and literature. I tipped the last one. Well, I took a scattergun approach. Arts, Clive Dunning or the only person at the races. First one. This British writer died in 2013. He won the E.M. Forster Award in 1975, the year his second major work, North, was published. This was a collection of works on ancient bog bodies. The writer... Ashton?
Yeah.
Who tipped Ashton?
Oh yes, Ashton.
It's only Ashton Clive. It's not just a risk, does it?
This is the title character in a popular children's book published in 1963. Will?
Paddington.
No. You've kind of got to be optimistic against these guys, haven't you? It is also the first name of the author of 3 of the top selling... You've got it, Steve Lacey.
Stick.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the 3 both pop, you know what it's going to be, don't you? I think we've had something on those lines before a few months ago.
I don't know what's going to be.
Stig Larsson, name the guy who, in the title novel by Clive King, who lives in the dumps.
Oh,
Steve.
Yeah, I was thinking John Grisham or something like that.
I think he's James in the Dragon.
Steve of the Dump.
James.
It's not Steve in the dump. No, that Norwegian kid that lives
This work, housed in the National Gallery in London, was originally titled Landscape Noon, one of a series of Clive.
Hey, Wayne.
Affirmative.
Hey, Wayne.
In grammar, these are often called discourse markers. By convention, it was deemed poor practice to use one of these at the beginning of a sentence in English. But that is not the case, with examples including and, but, and yet. Clive. Give the word used to describe the part of speech is blah 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 blah. Clive.
Affirmative.
Philip Glass wrote the opera The Photographer about the trial of which pioneer of photography? Accused of the murder of his wife's lover in Norman.
Fox Talbot.
I don't even have feelings. The only way I'm going to get in.
Plebeian.
The trial of which pioneer of photography? Accused of the murder of his wife's lover in 1874. The photographer in question is perhaps known for his work depicting the movement of animals, in particular galloping horses. Simon.
Yeah.
Lee.
That's how it is.
Nice.
Dave.
Wow.
Michael.
Jones.
Reaching. Will.
James.
No, I've not finished the question. Whose first name is Edward? Is Moybridge. Edward Moybridge. I was giving you the Edward just to see if you could pick up on it, but no. I'm doing the thing everybody else to real, which obviously is one of my main hobbies. This author is perhaps best known for a series of novels he wrote in the 1930s. Born in Leeds, he also wrote extensively about the Russian Revolution. His close connection to Soviet... Simon.
Arthur Ranson.
It is Arthur Ranson. Good answer. Very good.
Yes.
Most of them are rubbish, but that one was okay. One of the best-selling works of fiction of the past 50 years. It was once read out in full on Top Gear. The title character of this 1969 book could be described as an audacious example of the larval stage of the genus Dave.
The very hungry caterpillar.
Yes, the very hungry capital. Dave, Bill, I've lost you on this board. There you are.
The first one.
A staple part of the cuisine of many cultures, Simon. This dish can be cooked by boiling, baking or frying. In some African cuisines, banku is a steamed version of this dish, while in Armenia they are known as boraki. The Jewish dish, matzah, is... Dave?
Dumplings.
Yeah. I nearly give you points to Clive there. Ooh, that's all we need. Clive and Dave in the lead on 4 apiece with a few to go. This 1984 novel was initially banned in the author's home country. The title is supposedly taken from a line in War and Peace, and the subject matter draws upon the ideas of Nietzsche and an existentialist take on love and death. First published in French.
Go for the unbearable lightness of being.
I think you're absolutely correct on that, Clive. Little round of applause for that one. A good answer puts Clive in the lead with a reset. Let's go. Set in South Leeds. This literary work was first published in 1985 and tells of the author's imaginary conversation in a cemetery with a skinhead / vandal / Leeds United fan. Politically charged and with profanity throughout, written during the miners' strike and the subject of a controversial reading on Channel 4 in 1980.
V, Sonny Harrison.
It's V and it's Sonny Harrison. Oh, that's looking nice now. The first book devoted to this subject was Adolf Brahms' Study of a Tuscan Noblewoman, published in 1856. Michael?
I've gone way too soon. Cooking.
Sorry.
Moor.
Sectors and
I
stuff.
think you're a few thousand years out on that one.
Published in 1856, right. Which specific area of the visual arts was pioneered by Edward Steichen? It could be, I don't know how you pronounce that, Station. It could be argued that this is a more of a tool of marketing promotion than art. Famous practitioners have included Richard Avedon and Cecil Beaton.
Photography. Well, portrait photography. Well, Beaton's portrait, he was more landscape, even.
What do you mean, like that way or that way?
Let's see how that goes. My girls have gone, right. Famous practitioners have included Richard Avedon and Cecil Beaton. Perhaps the best known contemporary practitioner of which visual art form is still alive is Mauro Testino. Michael?
Fashion photography.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for.
Portraits, is that the same or?
Well,
Avedon wasn't.
the question is, we've got to ask is, were Richard Avedon and Cecil Beaton exclusively fashion
No, no, woman.
Right, Clive, can you have the point?
Affirmative.
I thought Cecil Beaton was a cook. Oh, it's Mrs.
Anyway, down to more pressing matters, please, gentlemen. Clive has just got a hat-trick.
I don't mind taking that, but just not giving me the points.
No, you've got it now.
No.
I'll have 2 points.
Do you want me to take some points off you, Clive? Here we go. The origin of this word is ancient Greek and first appeared in English in the mid-17th century. As an adjective, there was a reported 45% increase in its use in 2018. This was partly due to the nature of the debate surrounding Brexit, but also due to the Me Too movement and the subsequent association of this word with a negative view of masculinity. Wow, Ashton. If you want to know, Mike, you were 1-8 to 1-3. You were 7 points for a second behind there. Ashton.
Oh yes, Ashton.
Your word of the year in 2018 on the Oxford Dictionary's word of the year. These two literary characters are perhaps the best known creation of Edward Stratemeyer. First appeared, yes.
The Harvey Boys.
He's going to be on the wrestling questions.
You argue that, yeah. Didn't they do wasn't he there Caroline Keane as well?
Nancy
I just know you give one John.
Yeah, no, but I think they're the same people who did it.
Yeah, the collective pen name was Franklin W. Dixon, aimed at male teenage
The
readership.
female ones.
Not back the readership when I was 14, I can tell you. Next one, Parade, Carnival, the classic magazines, weren't they?
Yes.
The object in the title of a literary work, in the title of a literary work was used as a metaphor for art, eternity and the soul. The answer to a question related to this object would once have been about 3 drachmas a day. It is Norman.
What's a Grecian air?
Yeah, a Grecian air is what I was looking for.
Oh,
So, yeah, hey, Clive, you were right next to him on that one, you know that, don't you? But I presume because you said next to
I'd
him,
be naughty on that.
you knew you were second, didn't you? And you knew he was going to get it. Eaten as both a breakfast and dinner meal, the noodle soup pho, pronounced pho. Dave.
Vietnam.
It is, yeah. A key part of the cuisine of which Asian nation? David.
Bingo.
David on a creditable 6 for the R, eh? Could be worse.
Better than the music.
The first of the 5 theatrical works written by this unmarried man was The Old Bachelor. Buried in Poets' Corner, he is best known for the Restoration comedies Love for Love and The Way of the Norman.
Ben Jonson.
No, it wasn't, but I was coming out with now comes into play Clive.
Dryden.
No. The Way of the World. Named this playwright, born in 1670 in Bardsey, Leeds. Simon.
Mark
Ashton.
Webster.
Michael.
Jones.
Tell him, Clive.
Congreve.
Had the house, my sister lived at the house, it had a blue plaque in it, a little cul-de-sac. William Congreve. Oh, that's a dropped one, Clive, isn't it? That's a dropped 3, is that actually? Please tell me. This 20th century artist was allegedly nursed by a goat as an infant. Raised and working in a Catholic country, he caused controversy when a character in a 1947 work was depicted holding the sign, "God does not exist." Despite his revolutionary socialist beliefs, 2 of his most famous works were paid for and eulogised the Ford Motor Company and the San Francisco Stock Exchange. It's Clive. Yeah, and don't remind me of Frida Kahlo, which comes at the end of that one. It's Clive gets basically the clinchers.
Affirmative.
Keep your eyes on your own scores. 18. Criticisers an advertising trick and corporate feminism. This work by Kristen Visbal is only 50 inches high but was designed to symbolically face a work 3 times its size. The statue was installed the day before the International Women's Day in Ashton.
It's the girl on Wall Street. Looks at the stock exchange.
Come on.
It's the girl doing that. Staring at the Wall Street bank.
Look, the Angel of the North is not a girl doing that.
No, right, fair enough. I thought it was just called the girl.
But please keep quiet while I put this on. Here we go.
I can't believe you teach our children.
To promote both the day and the She Gender Diversity Index, named the statue of a brave young woman, or girl, moved from Wall Street to the New York Stock Exchange. Simon.
Little Orphan Annie.
Michael.
The girl in
Stop it, everybody. It's called Fearless Girl.
It's in the paper.
Oh, is it the one with the bull charge? You didn't mention about the bull charging after them. I mentioned the bull, didn't you? She's faced the bull charging after.
Yeah.
Why is that there?
Fearless Girl.
Yeah, that should be.
Now you know. You'll never forget that now, will you?
I will.
Will you? Please tell me, with 2 to go. Among the best known contemporary writers of this type of literature is Dickon Edwards, whose work first appeared in 1997. Fred Bason's books from the 1930s in this genre included an edition edited by Noel Coward. Alice Walker's The Colour Purple is written in this style. Michael?
Is it an epistolary novel?
Yeah, I might... Can I continue the question?
A diary, I
A
think.
diary, yeah.
Which a diary would be an epistolary example.
Yeah.
Of an epistolary.
How did that question all end? You know. Samuel Pepys.
Decent.
And Franco.
Yeah, it's not in the question, believe it or not. Yeah. This is your last question of this particular tilt. Winner of the Faber Award in 1981, this British author was the recipient of the James Tate Black Prize in 1996 for a novel that was criticised for its similarities to a Faulkner novel, even though it later won him the Booker Prize. So I'm after the winner, not the book title. Since then, he has been on the Booker long list for The Light of Day. Name the author whose Last Orders was adapted into Ashton.
King's Day.
And we're not finished. Tony.
Graham Swift.
Yes. I had to rush you along there because there was a whole huge flurry in there, and I don't like you. So, Ashton Lucas. Listen, everybody.
I can't believe you teach our children.
That was funny.
And the same.
It was funny the first time.
It's funny. It never gets old. And
It's nowhere to walk and put in his
Tony, this gets old.
Bill.
You're correct. So at the end of that round, once again, Dave Bill, a credible, a very, no man said a quiet 6 for second place, but outing from Clive Dunning 11. Tim Dave! So don't forget to tune in next week for History and Visual. Yay! Who's going to win the music? Tony Walmsley.
Or me.
Who's going to win the art? Clive Dunning.
We shall soon see.